Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way.
That's right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And
Hi. I'm like, we're trying to hit live, and it's like not going live. And I'm like, oh, we're not live. We're not live.
we are good. I tell you. Okay. I got to boot this one up here so I can
Robert's
see it.
driving the bus so good.
I'm
guys.
driving the bus.
He is doing a great
That's right.
job. He really is.
If I can figure this out, oh, crap. I did something wrong there, but that doesn't affect us over here. Oh, I did.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay,
we'll work it out, right?
Yeah, I got to hit the mute button. Otherwise, I'll get lots of, and I got to hit the thing.
No, I might have to do that too.
Oh, we're behind on things.
Well, I think
Shut
I can
these lights off. I'm driving the bus.
You're driving good. Okay. Hi, critical thinker. We are live. People. Yay!
Yay! I see the chat coming up. Boston space.
I'm like, I just saw some.
Why isn't this thing working?
Hi, that way.
I think that I gotta move the stuff. I had the things working good last night for the background, and then I
don't know, Al. I don't know what happened to the previous chat. Maybe when we go live, it takes it away. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
hi, Al.
Maybe I said something wrong. I'm still learning how to do this.
Yeah, but you're doing good. You scheduled and everything. You did good.
It's doing a lot better today.
It does that. Sometimes I've seen Wayne's chat like before go away too, so it might be a normal thing.
Yeah. It's been either way, I'm still better than I was before. I'm getting there. Look, I even got the background figured out how to do it. I just got to rearrange the green screen, make it better. I got to go long ways. They gave me this thing that was like super long, and but it was narrow, and I'm like, well, So now I got to wrap it
a little wider.
Yeah. Well, it's plenty wide. It's just I got to hang it up different. So it's all good. Let's see, who do we got? Oh, Chloe's in the house, and Big Al. Big Al. Hey, Big Al. He was out on his boat today.
Yes. Always. The weekend thing. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Joyce. Are you serious?
Oh, Joyce. Joyce, are you serious? Are you really serious? Michelle, Can-Am Free. Welcome. Glad you could make it.
Yes, whole family.
Lost in Space. Who else? Peter West. Basto.
Yeah, Basto.
I love Basto. Truth in Me.
To others.
Yeah. Big Al, he was on his boat. He was flying the rebel flag, being a rebel.
Right on.
A good deal. I mean, if you really look back at the rebel, come on, people. It's not hurting anybody.
Right.
It's just
Hi, Truth in Me.
People think it's like gonna, I don't know, they freak out and they think it's gonna be like some kind of thing where they're gonna get the Ku Klux Klan back and they're all gonna ride out on horses and hang black people, for God's sakes. That doesn't happen anymore, people.
No, well, it does. It does.
Well, it does, but
it doesn't happen for most people.
Yeah,
right.
Those days are kind of far and few between, and sure, bad things happen to people, and I do feel sorry for them, and that's not right. But for the most part, it's not happening like it used to. Most people just accept that we are all different and we're all together in this. But we have to realize we all have one common and enemy, and right now it's the. You said it right there.
No, and we're it's like, all lives are matter.
Yes.
All lives are matter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We are made of matter. So
Absolutely.
Forget the colors, forget the religions, forget the bank accounts, forget the houses, forget the stuff, forget the titles, forget the labels. When you break it down, we're all made of matter. We're all made of the same exact stuff. The only thing difference is we vibrate a little bit of a different frequency, but we're all made of exactly the same thing. When we can get to that place, that's when we're really going to become powerful as a collective soul.
Yeah, and that's going to be good. I mean, and we could be there now if we would just quit the hate, start the love, And, yeah, sure, it ain't gonna be the love fest, kind of thing. But for God's sakes, just be nice to your fellow man. Is that so hard?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Hi,
really?
critical thinker. I wanted to tell everybody to that anybody that was praying for my friend Kevin, guys at work, he opened his eyes this morning,
Oh,
and he's not keeping them open, but
mhm,
they're staying. He's opening them more frequently by this afternoon, and he's starting to turn his head and look the way when they speak to him now. So
mhm.
it's working, and he's coming back slowly. So keep on praying. You guys are amazing, and you guys made a miracle happen. So thank you.
See, that's the power of the collective.
It
I
really
mean,
is.
and it doesn't. Okay, so the thing
It
is
really
just
is.
because we all started thinking, you
Hmm.
know, and just thinking about it, sending a little energy, just mind thought. It wasn't
Yeah.
even actually work. But look what happens. Wayne proved that. We're going to have some rain. Everybody think rain, and bam. It's we're creating in our head with our
Yeah.
mind, and we don't realize it. And it happens all the time. A lot of times you think it in your head, and then you turn it into physical by uh, building the idea or making it, like making some bread. I'm going to make bread, and in your mind you visualize the bread that you're going to be eating.
Yeah.
You visualize the butter you're going to put on it, and you can smell it. You've smelled bread before, and it smells so good, and oh man. And then you go to the kitchen and you pour the ingredients in there, and you knead the dough, and you do all that stuff, and you make the bread.
Yep.
And then it turns out when
Then, yeah,
yeah.
you put it in the oven and you wait. And then you know when it comes out, it's going to be what you wanted. And it
Mm-hmm.
might even taste better than you imagined. But
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh yeah.
know, when you put it in the oven, that's when you kind of let it go and you let the process of the baking begin. This
Mm-hmm.
is how the Lord would teach me when I was little, when I wanted things to come in my life. He says, all you do is it's like going to a restaurant, putting an order in, telling the
Mm-hmm.
chef what you want. You put your order in. The waitress takes the order and gives it to the chef, and the chef makes the food, and you just kick back and you wait for it to come back out. That's
Mm-hmm.
what he said. He says you imagine what you want and you say what you want and you think of what you want, you make it real in your mind. He says, then you just give it to us and then you let us bring it back to you. He
Mm-hmm.
says, because that's what you create it with your intention, but you give it to us because we know how to put it together a little bit better than you. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, that makes sense because you're smarter than I am because I'm learning this when I'm a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the simplest way I was ever taught manifestation in my life was literally it's like going to the restaurant, placing
Yeah.
your order, and then just sitting there waiting and anticipating your yummy food coming out perfect.
Yeah, well, and that's true. The last book that we read, what was it? The oh, what was that book?
Oh,
Universal Mind or something like that.
yeah, the higher mind,
The Higher
higher
Minds book. The
minds.
Higher Mind.
Yeah,
It
higher
slipped
mind.
my mind. Anyway, it slipped my mind. Okay, when
The
Higher
higher mind has
Minds.
slipped my mind.
Yes, yes. The Higher Minds. I'm thinking. I'm just like. Anyway, there's so many books. Anyway, the point is you're exactly right. Didn't it said in there? That's and I found other examples in different books. The teachings of the masters or the Far East masters. They basically said the same version. You
Yeah,
imagine in your head, and I think I read that off. I got it somewhere here. Um,
that's a
you
great
know,
series of books.
and you imagine it, you think it. If you think it and believe it and imagine it, and then send it off, and
Hmm.
like you said, wait. If
Hmm.
you did it right, then
Hmm.
it will be so, and it will be done. I mean, but if you didn't, and it doesn't conform to all the laws of the universe, or if there's flaws with whatever conflicts, you won't get
You
it.
know,
But
I've kind of seen Robert like the manifestation only truly stops if you stop it.
yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
there was another thing you couldn't ask like over and over and over, trying to
Yeah.
get the same results. You needed, if you didn't get it, you needed to ask again in a different way, because I think it is, it's like putting in that order. If you ask
Yeah,
for,
well,
well, I
and
want
like
to,
I said, sometimes the universe is lining things up for you that you can't really see.
Yeah.
like sometimes when you like manifest things, especially big things, sometimes they take a little time, and it requires energy and effort on your part to help the process along. Like I manifested a house, and I didn't have the money that I needed for the down payment. And then I had 8 weeks for that to manifest. It was like, there was just all these things that had to come into alignment. But I literally had been focusing on it for a while, several years. I had drawn it in my head. I had drawn it on paper. And when the manifestation actually came into full manifestation, it was so close to my dream.
Yep.
But I will tell you, it had a mountainside view that was not in my plan. So it was so much better than I ever could have imagined on my own. And because I said, this is what I want. I'm going to start taking the steps to get to what I want. And I'm going to manifest what I want. I'm going to dream about it. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see this house. And literally, when I went up to this house that I purchased, the model was my last name in the feminine. So it was called the Alessandria instead of Alessandro. I was like, you can't make this stuff up. And then, like I said, the mountainside view, and then I had to go on a lottery. I was the first one picked. When the universe brings it all together for you, it's completely off the hook, because it's way better than anything that you could have done on your own.
Yep.
And it's filled with all these wonderful miracles and surprises along the way. But it's beautiful because it's your creation in cooperation with Creator. And that, when it comes together, it manifests in such beautiful ways.
Yes. I can't argue with that. You said it beautifully. I mean,
We're learning.
but that's it. But that's exactly it. And from that, we need to learn that. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is to create. And that's what you're all about, is creating, and and learning how to do that. Because when you go to school, they don't teach you that kind of that stuff. They just, teach you the basics of stuff, and then they don't
And we're
say,
taught
hey.
backwards too, Robert. With religion, we're taught to go outside. And now we've realized, oh my gosh, that's backwards. It all starts from inside. So
Yeah.
we've been on a backward track since.
Yeah, and that's why there's so many. That's why there's so many sheeple out there, because people just stop and they go, I don't know what to do, and they're waiting from somebody on the outside to literally tell them
how to think.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. How do I fix that? I don't know. Where do I go from here? I don't know. I'm
really see
I'm
that
lost.
With kids too. Yeah, I see that with the kids too. These younger kids, it's like they know how to follow instruction, but they don't know how to improvise. They don't know how to think on their feet. They don't know how to think on their own. They don't know how to oh, it's so crazy. It's just like when we were kids, when we used to drive our cars, we had to call our friends, and we had to know the streets. We had to know how to basically get to their house with our own internal guidance system and our memory of our town, our streets, our roads.
Yep.
Most of the kids nowadays, they don't know any of their streets. They couldn't tell you 5 miles north and south of where they lived in order. They couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
They just don't know, because
they get the phone out.
Yeah,
GPS.
The technology, it stops
turn
them
left, turn right.
Yeah, they don't know. And then like I've even seen where people, like, they know a faster route, but because that GPS is telling them the way to go, they take the long way because they're listening to the computer rather than listening to their own brain. I'm like, oh boy, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen if, I just wait for the day that computers all go down, the GPS goes down, all that technology's done, and everybody's just going to be like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to read a map.
Fabulous. It'll make people start thinking again. It'll make people start problem solving. It'll make people realize how much learning and knowledge that they've bypassed by sitting on the black screen, because like they didn't learn the basic schools. They don't know how to change tires or fix their car anymore.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we don't know how to do anymore because the technology is keeping us distracted, and it's just, we've lost a lot of the basic foundational building blocks of what made America great, and made
Oh yeah.
America what it is. Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
okay, we got the book. Okay, everybody, we're going to be reading the book. I hope
We
y'all
should
can
say
see
hi to
that.
more people. I
Yeah,
want to say
that's what
hi
I'm
to David.
saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm going to do. I'm showing them the book, and then we're going to see who all joined us. I see David Castle showed up.
And Slightly
Hello, David
Slanted.
Castle.
Yeah. Hi,
Uh,
David.
Steve from Slightly Slanted for the Truth. Delaney Jones. Welcome, welcome.
Hi,
I'm
Amy.
glad you made it. Shannon Kling,
Hi,
thank you for
Shannon.
coming. She's such a sweetheart.
She is my
She's so
sunshine
nice.
angel.
Oh, there's Lori from Pure Love Ascension.
Hi,
Uh,
Lori. I love you. Thank you so much for that
she
reading.
was so fun to have on last night. Her and
Oh,
Crystal. That was
absolutely.
it was a great show. I had a lot of fun. I did. I had a lot of
Absolutely. How could you not with those beautiful women?
fun. Yeah.
Really? I mean, come on, Robert.
I know. It was a good time. Hey, that's the most beautiful women I've had in my house in long time.
Well, see, and you're going to have
Forever.
a packed house now all the time. It's good. It's good. It was some of the most wonderful people in the whole wide world.
I know. I
What a
know.
gift.
I
Yeah.
know. And it's great. I mean, I really enjoy doing this because it's like I get to talk to new people and I get new ideas. We get to come on here. We get to say hello to everybody. And this is I really want everybody else to, hey, you want to come on and we'll get together. You don't have to just be you and me. It could be a couple other people, just let me know. And we're going to get everybody here. Hopefully I'm pushing for it.
Absolutely. Like I said, just keep linking the email, Robert, and you guys
Yep.
just keep contacting Robert because we want to see as many of us that we can bring together, the stronger we will be as a family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the goal. This is your forum, and we're just Robert's driving the bus, and we're just trying to pull it together and bring in important information that we can discuss and share and digest and process and
yeah.
just
And,
learn
and,
and grow and evolve together.
and that there's a good keyword, evolve. And
Yeah.
the thing is okay, like you and me get together and we have ideas and we pass them back and forth, which is great. And you're really smart on all this stuff, and I got a lot to add to it. But when I talked to Lori and Crystal, they had new ideas that they brought up, and I'm sure everybody out there's got other ideas, and that's when they bring them up, and then everybody else exchanges those, and it's very interesting because these people have ideas in their head, and sometimes coming on here and discussing it with other people, it brings that out, and you just have that enlightening moment of like, holy cow, I never thought of that.
I think that's one of our greatest superpowers is our collective soul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all of us seeing things from a little shade of a perspective differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the full power of creation. That's the full
Mm-hmm.
power of it. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you have all those eyes,
Mm-hmm.
it's like sometimes you can see creation as a huge eye with
Mm-hmm.
millions of eyes. And that's us. We're those millions of eyes. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's to me the more different perspectives, it gives us a chance to investigate it a little bit bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and to look at it a little bit broader. And I think that's the key is instead of trying to separate and isolate and divide, we
Mm-hmm.
need to find out what they have in common and start to
Mm-hmm.
bring these concepts and ideas together and see how they can work together in harmony instead of
Mm-hmm.
this is right and this is wrong. We need to try to find some kind of a balancing between all of the information in a way that is in harmony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I see we got some new people coming in too. Let's see. Uh, Intuitive Empath, Miss Amber Dawn. Yeah, I'm glad she
Right.
came on. I like her channel. She does pretty good. I think she moved and she had a new house or something like that.
Right on.
She's pretty creative.
I see
She,
Mary wins. Hi,
Mary
Mary.
wins. Yes, Mary's there. Awesome. There was somebody else in there I seen. Oh, let me scroll back.
Critical thinker.
Yep. And Alan. I don't think
Intuitive empath, Miss Amber Dawn.
Yeah. And
That's up
I don't
here.
want to miss anybody.
I think we got them all. So glad you guys are here. We love you guys.
I think there was somebody else here I missed. Man,
did you miss one?
Yes, I missed somebody. Oh, Michael Warner.
Hi,
Or
Michael
Michelle,
Warner.
or Michelle, or maybe it's Michelle Warner. I can't see. Anyway, oh, there's Michelle. That's Michelle. That must be Michael.
Michelle Cannon Free.
Everybody spells them names differently. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Mosto to you all.
Oh yeah, that's right. I knew a Michelle.
And like
Warner
again, I know many of
ago.
you weren't here when I made the announcement for those who I sent out a prayer request for my friend Kevin. Guys, he opened his eyes this morning, so he's doing better and he's starting to respond to voices and stuff and keeping his eyes open more. So he's improving a lot, but a little bit at a time. So that's a really good sign. He opened his eyes this morning. So you guys, thank you for your prayers. I know it made a difference. I know it. I know it. So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And keep it up. Now,
Absolutely.
See, this is the part where we can't just quit.
Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, he's not done yet.
Mm-hmm. You know, a couple more days of that, and then he'll be back on the track. But you know, keep sending your intentions and your love and your light. You know, there was one guy I seen on Jay Campbell's channel, and he was talking about how he did that. He said he imagined a bright light. I don't know. I mean, he said it works. You know, he's imagine. Well, it's at least how he did it. He imagined a bright white light of love coming out of his chest and heading to wherever it needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he did it.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, that's beautiful. And like I said, you know, do what works with your imagination. Yeah. So like if that visual resonates with you, it's like, bingo, you just got a tool.
Yeah. Well,
add it to the toolbox.
And that's the thing. Sometimes people need to hear how other people do it so they can concentrate on doing that. It's like Patrick Garrett, you know, he always said, you know, imagine a big bubble of blue light around you and surrounds you. And I use that, and that was wonderful. I mean, I because he told me, you know, said this is how you do it, and then imagine blowing it up and da 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 da, you know, and because he said that, I started saying, oh, I can think that and imagine that and do that myself versus, well, just do it, you know, make yourself a bubble and blah, blah, blah. But he explained it really nice.
Yeah, to how you could build it and it inspired you.
Yes.
And it started your imagination process because the way he was putting it, you could actually see that. That's right there. Like when you can start to see it, that's like it works for you. It works for you. So do what works for you guys, because we're all doing different parts and everyone is so important. Every single one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing here. That's why we're all exchanging ideas, because you know, if we could all do that, then think of what power we could have, you know, if we could do that. And there's some people out there that say, it's nothing. I got a buddy of mine who says, you know, there ain't no such thing and nothing, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I keep thinking, well, you know, I says, my goal is to prove you wrong. And some way or somehow, I am going to figure something out to prove you wrong. So now I've set a goal, and my goal is to prove him wrong. And every time he sets up a challenge, now I have a goal to shoot for. Instead of just saying, I'm going to do that, I'm going to think about it, and then I forget. But since I got that goal and that challenge, it makes me work harder, find more information, read more, look at stuff, talk to people, try to imagine this, make stuff work. Someday I am going to be able to manifest something or float something or
You could, I
do
was gonna say
something.
you can manifest it now, but this is where you got to be careful with violating of free will.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but you know what I mean. Once you learn how to do something, even if it was just to do something with a piece of paper or something, I don't
Well,
care.
it's so
Something.
funny you were sitting there that he's talking about how he doesn't believe in all this stuff. I was just thinking, oh man, tell Brian to bring a ghost and show up in his living room. It's like he's
Well,
like manifest, like have him. He's got to see something or he'll never believe it. Nothing's real until you see it or feel it.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it's like you could just say, oh, I'm going to manifest a great opportunity for him to see something that will convince him as to the power of the supernatural world. Be it a
Hmm.
ghost, be it a spaceship, or whatever it needs to be. But just I ask for that if it's but you got to make sure that that would not rock their reality and that would
Yeah,
be something that would hurt them as an individual and
yeah,
violate their free will. So
yeah.
like I say,
And
you got
but
to be
but
careful with
see,
that.
something like that would prove to the or at least convince that person enough that hey, he said that, he did that, and then it happened. Maybe there's some truth into that, and that might be enough to tip the scale.
There is, I think. It's so weird last night. It's like it's funny you're mentioning that. I have a one of my friends. She's never seen a spaceship or never like any nothing. She's had no UFO
Mm,
anything ever in her life. And she was out walking on a golf course over here near my house last night, and she
mm,
said it was really weird because she was walking with a friend, and she says all of a sudden they got this strange feeling, and they both stopped, and they both felt the need to look above them, and they said it was really odd because they both noticed that the stars were all filled over the whole sky except for right above them there was no stars.
mm,
And then she said all of a sudden they heard this very strange sound. And it wasn't like a plane, it wasn't like a jet,
mm.
she said it was really hard to explain, but they heard a sound. And then she says, and then all of a sudden there was more stars, and they started walking again, and then all of a sudden they saw a bright like. So I think it was a huge spaceship
Yeah.
that was over her head. And it was funny. She goes, do you think that was a spaceship? I'm like, it sounds like it. But, it's like people who have never seen these things, it seems like these opportunities are going to be presenting themselves very soon.
Yes, yes, yes. I do believe that. I mean, um,
I do.
exactly. I mean, and but I believe those things are true. I mean, like it says, I had that one
Right.
experience right here in North Dakota where the guy I met at a rest area. He was the only guy there. He was looking for a job. This was quite a few years ago. And he's like, they
Mhm.
follow me everywhere. And then he showed me. He says, yeah, there's one right over there. And I couldn't believe it until he took a picture, and it was all distorted in the sky. But yet, when I looked at the sky, it was clear as a bell. And then when he took the picture, you could definitely see the outline
Yep.
of the, and I thought, wow, you know.
Yeah. And see how he's just tuned into it. He's like, oh, there's one right there. That's Brian Lunsford. Brian Lunsford has got that same radar going on now.
Mm-hmm.
He can see stuff
Yep.
in the energy spectrum when most people can't even see it. So he
Yeah.
has totally got that same thing going on. Like I said, it's practice.
Yeah. Well,
See how
and once he
sharp
knew,
those, yeah.
and he showed
They're,
me a
they're
bunch
like
of,
fine-tuned radars, man. They're like, poof, poof, poof. I'm like, oh, wow, you're catching everything. But
yeah.
yeah, that's practice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's, yeah, you practice or you're tuned in.
Hmm.
I think it's just being, being aware of things, and that's literally what it boils down to. Because we're all aware of stuff. It's just,
Hmm.
but then we're not aware of stuff.
Yeah.
Because how many people they're like zombie people,
Yeah.
and they're not aware of anything.
Even those of us that are waking up, it's like we still have so much more to figure out. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a big conundrum. So we have
Mm-hmm.
a lot that we're trying to understand. Just like the book that we're reading, The Holographic Universe. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
who would have ever imagined that that could be potentially real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would have ever, no way. I could have never imagined that 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it
I
is like
totally.
no way I would have ever even that would have ever been in my reality 20 years ago. I would have been
Hmm.
like, "What? What
Hmm.
you talking about? No way." But now it's we have to look at everything completely different because we understand everything is not what it appears to be.
Yeah. The more I learn about stuff, the more I realize, the less I know. Put it that way, which is kind of sad because I keep thinking, wow, I thought I knew a lot, but it's like now my whole reality's tipped upside down because I was so sure, and
Right?
now I'm not so sure about anything, and
Right?
everything I thought I was. How should I put this? Uh, if if it can happen, or if there's some absolute possibility it happened or can happen or should happen, you know what? It probably has happened. Put it that way.
Yeah. I must agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
There's no way to say no, that can never happen. That's just totally impossible because it's like, yeah, well, yeah. As much as I want to go into that, but
It's so funny too. It's like when you understand you thought you knew so much, and then now we realize so much of what we thought we knew is not true.
mm-hmm,
So then, you go through that whole process of like, oh my gosh, my reality's upside down, and then now everything's not what I thought it was, and then you have to put your reality back together in a new construct. And then in that new construct, you think, okay, I got this figured out. And then you learn a bunch of new information. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't have that figured out at all. So this is like, this is ascension. That process that you're explaining right there, that is a
mm-hmm,
perfect explanation of what the true ascension is. Because just like you said, the more that you know now, the more you know that you don't know.
mm-hmm.
I think that's literally saying that you're actually starting to know God. When you
Yeah.
can know that you don't know and you will never know all that you could know or should know because it's just too much for us to know in a human experience.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the closest ways to God is to know that you don't know everything
Yeah.
because
Well, but then to have, uh, once you know that you don't know, then you're more willing to accept
new
things,
knowledge.
the
Yeah,
new knowledge. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
And I do
What
love
is
that
the new
thing that
knowledge?
Wayne says, when you can learn to never doubt your doubt, you'll never doubt your doubt again. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so true.
Oh man, we blew up a half hour already. Should we read a little bit out of the book here?
Sure.
Okay.
Do
I
you want
guess.
me to start reading?
Well, I can start. I think I
Okay.
got my bookmark in here.
Okay.
We're on page 7, so I am gonna go to screen share. Is right over here. Screen share. We're gonna get all set up.
Yeah, and I
And
think Robert, remember we stopped right where we were talking about how our patterns are so embedded into us that they're kind of like addictions and how hard it is to let go of those addictions.
yeah, can everybody see that? Uh,
Yes.
they can. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna flip the pages so that we are. I should have got the page 7, but
Hi, Milky's mom.
oh, she's in the house. Hey,
Yep.
Milky's
Hi,
mom, Brenda,
Deborah.
how you doing? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start with I am lucky
Hi,
because
Debbie.
I am lucky.
That's it. I am lucky. I love
I
it.
know I had good luck getting everything on. Tonight everything went like a charm. Um, okay,
Yes,
driving
you're
the bus
driving
is
the
get
bus so good, Robert.
driving the
Seriously.
bus is getting better and better all the
That's
time. One
right.
of
You
these
are
days
learning fast.
I'll be a professional bus driver.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Wait till next week. I got lots of people wanting to come on, or hopefully I can get
Yay!
on. I got prospects. I got lots of prospects, and oh, I want everybody in the chat room to discuss something. I want to. Well, here's an idea. I want to bring on a guest who can read cards, and I want them to pull one card for our show every week. Not there'll be a whole guest on for the whole time. I want them to show up, pull a card, do the reading. We say, okay, thank you. And then they go away and then we read the book or something. Okay. What do you
Okay.
think of that? But I need a volunteer for that. Somebody who has cards and can read the cards and would
I
like to
think
come
that's
on
an
and do
awesome
that.
idea. And Robert, if you did want me to do that, I could do that when we do the book readings because I can roll the dice.
Oh yeah, you could. Well, you could do that too. You could do
Yeah.
more. But I was thinking that way we could get somebody on, every week or well, it doesn't have. It could be the same person, but special guest comes on, does the card. You
Absolutely.
can read a card or roll a dice, or you got other things too. But they, you know what I'm saying? Is they come on,
Absolutely.
read the
I,
card for the collective, and then call it good.
I think it's wonderful. Like I said,
Yeah.
any and all means and measures that we get together and share time and experience and knowledge and thought with each other,
Hmm.
it's that's to me it's gold. It's just
Yeah,
gold.
yeah, and we can have different people because there's so many different decks out there that we could just and
Absolutely.
everybody seems to enjoy that so much. I mean, everything. And
Abs-
so
Yeah,
every
and like
week
it's
we'll
like
have,
I work with runes and I work with
yep,
dice. So
yep.
you know what I mean? It's like everybody's got little different tools and stuff that they work
Hmm.
with. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Well, yeah. So good deal. Okay, here I'm going. I am lucky. Yes, I have always known there was more to the world than is generally accepted. I, boy, that sounds what you're talking about.
Right.
I grew up in a psychic family, and from an early age, I experienced firsthand many of the phenomena that will be talked about in this book. Occasionally, and when it was relevant to the topic being discussed, I will relate a few of my own experiences. Although they can only be reviewed or viewed as an anecdotal evidence, for me, they have provided the most compelling proof of all that we live in a universe we are only just beginning to fathom. And I include them because of the insight they offer. Lately, because of the holographic concept is still very much an idea in the making and the mosaic of many different points of view and pieces of evidence, some have argued that it should not be called a model or theory until the desperate points of views of integrated into the more unified whole. As a result, some researchers refer to the ideas as the holographic par, paragram paradigm
Paradigm. Paradigm. You got
paradigm
it.
paradigm
Got it.
paradigm.
You got it.
Okay, others prefer holographic analogy, holographic metaphor, and so on. In this book, and for the sake of diversity, I have employed all of these expressions, including holographic model, holographic theory, but do not mean to imply that the holographic idea has achieved the status of a model or theory in the strictest sense of these terms. In the same vein, it is important to note that although Bohm and Pemgram, I think that's how I pronounce it for,
I
are
think
in the
so.
are originators of the holographic idea. They do not embrace all of the views and collusions put forward in this book. Rather, this is the book that looks not only at Bohm and Pembram's theories, but at the ideas and inclusions of numerous researchers who have been influenced by the holographic model and who have interpreted it in their own sometimes controversial ways.
Mhm.
Although or throughout this book, I also discuss variations, ideas from quantum physics, the branch of physics that studies subatomic particles, electrons, protons, and so on. Because I have written on the subject before, I am aware that some people are intimidated by the term quantum physics and are afraid they will not be able to understand its concepts. My experience has taught me that even in those who do not know any mathematics are able to understand the kinds of ideas from physics that are touched upon in this book. Do you do not even need a background in science. All you need is your open mind. If you happen to glance at a page and see a scientific term you do not know, I have kept turn the page. Oh my, we're gonna finish this part. Such
Yeah,
I gotta next here. Sorry.
that's okay.
There we go. Page 8. Such
Yep.
terms down to a minimum, and in those occasions when it was necessary to use one. I always explain it before continuing on with the text. So don't be afraid. Once you have overcome your fear of the water, I think you will find swimming among quantum physics strange and fascinating ideas much easier than you thought. I think you'll also find that pondering a few of these ideas might even change the way you look at the world. In fact, it is my hope the ideas contained in the following chapters will change the way you look at the world. It is with this humble desire that I offer this book. And so that is the interlude, part one.
Awesome. I got to say hi real quick to Scratch. Hi, Scratch. And intuitive empath, Miss Amber Dawn. She said she would love to do cards with you, Robert.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think I sent her a message on her comments one time and said she'd like to come on
I'm
the
like, there
show
you
or
go.
something.
I'm like,
But
yes.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yay.
Amber Dawn, you just get in on the Milky Way Soul Tribe email me, and we'll work something out and get you on. That'd be great. Send me your contact or whatever, and I can so I got your email, and we'll work from there. Anybody else too, just volunteer. I'm good. I think this is going to be a winner chicken dinner,
Yay.
and it won't have to be like you got to sit here for a whole hour and talk with us. Read your cards and we'll say hi, and you can say hi to everybody else, and then on your way. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do the start of part one? Okay. Go right ahead.
I can do it. Right on. Okay, guys, here we go. A remarkable new view of reality. Sit down before fact like a little child, sorry, and prepare to give up every preconceived notion. Follow humbly wherever and to whatever abyss nature leads, or you shall learn nothing. T.H. Huxley. Chapter 1. The brain is a hologram. Wow. I've never read this book, y'all, so this is going to be fascinating for me. Okay. It isn't that the world of appearance is wrong. It isn't that there aren't objects out there at one level of reality. It's that if you penetrate through and look at the universe with a holographic system, you arrive at a different view of reality. And that other reality can explain things that have hitherto remained inexplainable scientifically, paranormal phenomena, synchronicities, that apparently meaningful coincidence of events. Pribram, right? Is that how you said it?
Primbram.
I think you said it right. I was like, that's a tough word, Robert.
I told you there's more tough words in this book.
I know, and especially names, and names are tough. Names are very, very difficult.
Tongue twisters.
Oh, they sure. So the puzzle that first started the Pribram on the road to formulating his holographic model was the question of how and where memories are stored in the brain. In the early 1940s, when he first became interested in the mystery, it was generally believed that memories were localized in the brain. Each memory that a person had, such as a memory of the last time you saw your grandmother, or the memory of a fragrance of a gardenia you sniffed when you were 16, was believed to have a special location somewhere in the brain cell. Such memory traces were called engrams. And although no one knew what an engram was made of, whether it was a neuron or perhaps even a special kind of molecule, most scientists were confident it was only a matter of time before one would be found. There were reasons for this confidence. Research conducted by, and we have to turn the page.
Yep.
So research conducted by Canadian neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield in the 1920s had offered a convincing evidence that specific memories did have a specific location in the brain. One of the most unusual features of the brain is that the object itself doesn't sense pain directly. As long as the scalp and the skull have been deadened with a local anesthetic, surgery can be performed on the brain of a fully conscious person without causing any pain. In a series of landmark experiments, Penfield used the fact to his advantage. While operating on the brains of epileptics, he would electrically stimulate various areas of their brain cells, and to his amazement, he found that when he stimulated the temporal lobes, the region of the brain behind the temples, one of his fully conscious patients, they re-experienced memories of past episodes from their lives in vivid detail. One man suddenly relived a conversation he had with his friends in South Africa. A boy heard his mother talking on the telephone, and after several touches from Penfield's electrodes, was able to repeat her entire conversation. A woman found herself in her kitchen, and she could hear her son playing outside. Even when Penfield tried to mislead his patients by telling them he was stimulating a different area when he was not, he found that when he touched the same spot, it always would evoke the same memory. In his book, The Mystery of the Mind, published in 1975, just shortly before his death, he wrote, "It was evident at once that these were not dreams. They were electrical activities of the sequential record of consciousness, a record that had been laid down during the patient's earlier experience. The patient relived all that he had been aware of in that earlier period of time, as in a moving picture, a flashback." From his research, Penfield concluded that everything we have ever experienced is recorded in our brain. From every stranger's face we have glanced at in a crowd to every spider web we gazed on as a child. He reasoned that this was why memories of so many insignificant events kept cropping up in his sampling. If our memory is a complete record of even the most mundane of our day-to-day experiences, it is reasonable to assume that dipping randomly into such a massive chronicle would produce a good deal of trifling information. As a young neurosurgery resident, Pribram had no reason to doubt Penfield's enneagram theory, but then something happened that was to change his thinking forever. In 1946, he went to work with the great neuropsychologist Carl Lasky at the Yerkes Laboratory of Primate Biology, then in Orange Park, Florida. For over 30 years, Lasky had been involved in his own ongoing search for the elusive mechanism responsible for memory. And there, Pribram was able to witness the fruits of Lasky's labor firsthand. What was starting was not only that Lasky had failed to produce any evidence of the enneagram, but his research actually seemed to pull the rug out from under all of Penfield's findings. What Lasky had done was to train rats to perform a variety of tasks, such as run a maze. Then he surgically removed various portions of their brains and retested them. His aim was to literally cut out the area of the rat's brain containing the memory of their maze running ability. To his surprise, he found that no matter what portion of their brain he cut out, he could not eradicate their memory. Often the rats' motor skills were impaired and they would stumble clumsily through the mazes, but even with massive portions of their brains removed, their memories remained stubbornly intact. For Pribram, these were incredible findings. If the memories possessed specific locations in the brain in the same way that it looks like it possesses specific locations on library shelves, why didn't Lasky's surgical plunderings have any effect on them. For Pribram, the only answer seemed to be that the memories were not localized at specific brain sites, but were somehow spread out or distributed throughout the brain as a whole. The problem was that he knew of no mechanism or processes that could account for such a state of affair. Lashkey was even less certain and later wrote, I sometimes feel, in reviewing the evidence on the localization of the memory trace, that the necessary conclusion is that learning just is not possible at all. Nevertheless, in spite of such evidence against it, learning does sometimes occur. In 1948, Pribram was offered a position at Yale, and before leaving, he helped write up 30 years of Lashy's monumental research.
Mm.
That is profound because science has definitely confirmed that our memories and our mind is not in one specific location. So that means it's outside of our body. And that's a beautiful confirmation because so many people worry about their loved ones when they get dementia and they
Mm.
start to lose their memories and they start to lose their mind. And then they wonder, will they ever remember if I existed? This is proof that they will remember every single breath, every conversation, every moment, everything you've experienced with them somehow is being preserved from a remote location. And our brains right now are the library system that we use to access them on this realm. But it appears that even on this realm, the mind is not always necessary to perform a cognitive memory function.
That's right. You keep all your memories in the cloud, and then your whatever it is, I forget, the RAM or the hard, the little bit of memory storage that you have. I'm relating this to a computer. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you have to do the basic tasks, but just like your cell phones nowadays, they give you just a little bit of memory, and then they say, well, you got to put everything else in the cloud. Well, your phone basically doesn't know how to do anything except to hold a few different apps, and then
Mm-hmm.
everything comes from the cloud, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where all the memory is. It's in the cloud. You don't have anything
Absolutely.
in your phone.
Absolutely. And it's so funny. They're telling us that our memory storage now is being held into the cloud. And what does
Hmm.
it always say? Jesus would come in the clouds.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And by reading this and looking at that, and if you have to relate that, I mean, it's just kind of ironic because of did they figure this out? I mean, this is back in the 40s. They're writing this and doing these things. Did they figure
Absolutely.
this out and realize that, hey, we're put together like this, and then did they base the computer off of us?
Yes, I've always thought that, Robert, that we are the most sophisticated form of artificial intelligence on the planet. I, I am I am pretty certain that that might be accurate because these bodies were created
Mm-hmm.
and they were created with the elements of the earth. So basically, yeah, we are definitely creations, and we're inhabiting these bodies, but these bodies, they're creations of this earth, and somehow we can put our spirits into these avatars, into these bodies, and we can connect and be as one with them. It's a profound technology.
So okay, so I'm gonna make this make really good sense, and you're gonna love this. Okay, so since we're in the cloud, you know, and we store all our memories in the cloud. Now, this is what we were talking about before, is you're in the cloud, and what do you do in the cloud? You get on the cloud and you go to these places in the cloud and you meet up with people. You get like we're doing now. We're really literally in the cloud.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you really want to think about it, it's not if they base the computer and all its stuff off of us, then without telling us, because we really didn't know because we're silly and stupid and we were never taught, we have to rethink that and say, okay, then if the computer can do it, we can do this. We just don't know how to connect. We know all the stuff goes to the cloud, but now we need to know how to connect from one to the other, and we could all meet in the cloud. Right now, we wouldn't even need this computer. We would, this is like the artificial cloud. We would just meet in the real cloud.
Robert, you're absolutely right, but you got to think about it. This is an absolute perfect reflection of what we do naturally.
Yes.
So in our fifth dimension, right, in our fifth dimension and above bodies, this is how what we do naturally. We just think of each other and we are instantly face to face communicating. So this is it's like they're imitating everything from what we are as a meta being, our meta capabilities, our other energetic bodies. And I saw a comment in there. They were like, yeah, that's part of our energy body. Our aura is the cloud. That's absolutely right. Science is pretty much starting to actually identify that all of our memories of all lifetimes and experiences are being stored within our causal energy body, which is one of your 5 energy bodies that are currently wrapped around your physical body.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, we don't have a lot of time left. I do have some questions.
Wow, Robert, that went fast.
Yeah, that did. And I got some questions.
Okay.
And I think these are good. And I want to see what you think, because I think they pertain to everybody. And with the world that we're living in right now, and the weird stuff that's happening, and raise your hand if you think the world's going wacko on you.
Wacko, yes.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so I can see the thing. Stop share, and then I should be able to get rid of this, and then I can see the chat again. So everybody raise your hand if you think the world's gone wacko. Okay, now here's the big question. How will these are ideas that just popped in my head today, and I wrote them down. How will people keep spiritual, during the time of this crisis? Will they turn to what they know, go back to the church or so? If the church would say there's a food crisis, and they say, okay, we're going to go to church because they give us food there. They, and we're gonna I know I was believing this, but screw that. I'm going to believe in God because and remember, I'm going to go Jesus and all this stuff, and I'm going to do the thing because if I walk step and give what little I have and do all those things I used to do, they'll give me some food, they'll help me out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying is, will you flip your beliefs for handouts?
For safety and security.
Yes.
Many people will. Absolutely. And it's so funny. This is kind of how we ended the book last week, when it was talking about, can you give up your little habits? Can you give up your addictions for your patterns, the things that are safe, safety and security? Yeah, a lot of people will grasp for that, but the ones who are really strong in their soul and their spirit, and they know that they're not just their human body, their fear is going to be so much less than the ones around them. So with that, they're going to have options that most don't. But whatever you choose, it's okay, because we're all doing what we should. If you're just doing what you should. Yeah.
That is true. Okay. With with time, with the time spread of fear, with spread of fear and anger, how can you keep centered and focused and not get depressed? Because right now, so many people are getting depressed because I can't do anything. There's nothing to do.
The best thing I've always known to do that, Robert? I call it fake it till you make it.
Good one.
Yeah, it's the only thing that you really can do, because nobody can change your thoughts other than you. Nobody can shift your vibration other than you. So fake it till you make it. If you're feeling funked out, negative energies hitting, your world is crashing around you, find a safe place where you can get into your own space and just take 10 minutes and imagine anything other than what is showing up in your reality. Come back into alignment with the things you like to see. And you have to force yourself to do this. That's why I call it fake it till you make it, because you've got to fake it until you can resonate with the visions that will shift your frequency, be it a happy song, a happy movie, a happy thought, anything that you can grab a hold to that will shift your frequency. because inevitably, man, it's our responsibility to do that. No one can do this for us. So it's hard, but
Yeah.
that's the strongest, best tool that you will have if the energies are intense and you're feeling depressed and you're feeling heavy and just bogged down by the energies of this world. Go outside, connect with nature, connect with the sun, and find find a frequency that makes your frequency shift, be it joy, happiness, love, imagination, creativity, dance, song, music, chanting, mantra, meditation, whatever it is for you. Go do that and fake it till you make it because it's worth it.
Absolutely. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. The last one. This is the big one. Are we alone? Will someone come to help us? And are these trials and experiences just here to make us strong?
Okay. Well, I think part two I'll take first. Are these
Um,
experiences that we're undergoing here to make us strong? Absolutely. I believe that this is the planet that you come to be forged through fire. This is the Mac Daddy. This is Harvard, and we knew it was going to be hard.
yeah, absolute,
So, with
absolutely.
that, and are we alone? I wish, and sometimes, we feel so alone. But when you actually start to understand the truth of your soul and you understand that we're a collective soul, you can't be alone.
Hmm.
It's not how it works, and it's not how you were created. We were created in groups.
Hmm.
So we are never alone. We feel alone. And the separation when we're in a physical body with
Hmm.
the identity of an I am separate of a separate self, that
Hmm.
alone is a very strong mechanism of our ego. And your ego is very important when you're in a physical body so you can
Hmm.
keep your physical body safe, because without the awareness of self you wouldn't be able to protect yourself.
Hmm.
So we're never alone, even though we feel like we're alone. And when
Oh
you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
alone, just connect to the truth of that all is God and all is one. And through that oneness of God, we are one. So, with that, there is no separation, and there is never a time when we're ever alone. And think about it too. If our memories they're finding are not,
Mm-hmm.
they're not trapped in our brain,
Hmm.
specific location, it moves, it grooves, it's going through the energy field, and we can grab a hold of these things and bring them in. That process and that gift that we are able to do that, that tells you that you are more than your physical body. It's proof, it's scientific proof that the spirit is over the matter. So if I chop off half your brain and you still know how to do everything you know how to do in 6 months after you adjust, you transfer all that information from one hemisphere to the other. There is no boundaries. The only boundaries that we have are physical.
Hmm.
Spiritual, there are no boundaries. So with that, there is no separation.
Good, good. Well, it's a good answer because, like I said, I'm listening. I scan, over the waves of the internet and the
Mm-hmm.
things, and I see what all people are talking about, and it's like they're all asking these same questions,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, well, they need an answer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm thinking, yeah, I kind of feel lonely too. I mean, with this
Yeah.
social distancing and
Yeah.
don't get close to people, don't go here, don't go there, just go home and sit in your house. Well, after a while, you think, I feel kind of alone. You
Yeah. And you
know,
just need a hug.
yeah, there you
You
go.
know,
Exactly.
we need to touch each other. We need. That's a human thing.
Hmm.
It's just like animals. I mean, literally, you look at monkeys, what do? They sit around and they groom each other all day.
Hmm.
Animals, they're touching each other, they're playing with each other. There's always contact within
Hmm.
species. And we are part of that animal kingdom. And that requires that we are interacting with each other, and it's
Hmm.
it's a vital part of our existence. We take that part away from the human being turns into a sociopath.
Yeah.
It turns into its most primal aspect of what it is, and it completely goes into ego, fight or flight mode, because the body and the spirit and the soul aren't getting what it needs, because we are never separate. So if you separate humans from each other for a long time, this is going to cause a kind of psychosis and a coping. Humans will cope with this on some level, and I have a feeling it's going to be extremely dark, because there won't be a lot of options with this.
And
So
speaking of the dark part, that's the last part of that question. Will someone come to help? Because that's what everybody's saying. They're all saying, Jesus is gonna come and he's gonna save us all. And I'm like, well, you're gonna be waiting for a long time, man.
yeah,
You know?
and that's both. There's both there, because okay, the Savior, Jesus as the Savior, that is spot on truth. Because if you understand that Jesus means he is us, because when you understand that Christ is within, and everybody has an opportunity to activate the Christ within, that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
So not everybody will activate the Christ. So there will be no Savior for them, because they don't know how to be saved.
Yeah,
so,
but see, most people are taught to
right,
look
and
for
I was
that
going to
external
say, the
savior.
whole coming down, the rapture, that part of it, that's when I was told in my 30s, I was told about the Jesus trap.
Yep.
And that was a really hard thing for me to process. And like I said, everybody has to do their own searching and come to your own truth. But I was definitely shown that that is a false truth, and that is giving your power away. And your job in this incarnation was to become the Christ, not to expect a savior to be the Christ for you.
Yeah.
So in all actuality, the Son will be our savior, because through the Son is where we activate the Christ, through the solar complex.
Yeah, the savior is already here. It's you.
It's within.
You have to save yourself, because if you're waiting for somebody to show up, knock on the door and say, hey, I slew the dragon out back, you're totally wrong. You have to get up, you have to get brave, you go slay the dragon, and then you are the savior.
Yes, and yes, absolutely. And critical thinker, it's Christos oil. You're absolutely right. The activation of the Christ, actually, the pineal gland actually bathes your pituitary gland in the cerebral spinal fluid, which is a separate ocean inside your body. Your cerebral spinal fluid, which bathes the cerebral cortex of the brain, it's the fluid that runs up and down the spinal cavity, the CFS fluid. Cerebral spinal fluid, it literally is the color of straw, and it's gold. This is the Christos. So through the spinal, the Kundalini, when you activate all of your chakra wheels within your body and they connect, when they activate and connect and they start spinning, it activates a column of light. And the ancients called it the Laoesh. So the pillar of light activates in the spinal column, and that pillar of light is what births forth the bathing of the pineal gland, and that oil from the Christos, which is the CFS fluid. The Christ is born in the temple in your mind. So this is how the Christ is activated. It is within. It will never come from outside. It will always come from within you.
Wow. That is so good. It's very good explain. I love how you explain things. It's very good. Okay, well, our hour is a little over, but we did really good, and we love you all. Thank you for all coming, and well, be the frequency you want to receive.
And Basto, baby.
Basto. I love that. Basto.
Me too.
All right. Bye.